It's a rematch of last year's conference finals where the Vegas Golden Knights beat the Dallas Stars 4-2. Now they get to play in the first round. This is one of the most anticipated series of the entire playoff because if either team won the Stanley Cup, if I told you before the season started and I've been like, all right, I have the answer. The NHL gave me the script. And the script says it's Vegas. And I turn over the card and you're like, yeah, I can see that. Where I said the script says it's Dallas. You'd be like, yeah, I can see that.
You'd be like, oh, well, that's the 2-3 matchup. Wait a sec. Those guys aren't in the same division. What's going on? I can't believe it played out this way. It sucks for the Stars.
It does. Well,
win or lose, this sucks.
It does. And I'm wondering how it's one of those series where you look at it and you go, how could this not go 7 games?
It's going 7. It's 1,000,000% going 7. It'll go with whoever wants it most that evening. And the team that will want it most is the team facing elimination. And then you get to 7 and then it's a hockey game.
Now it feels like Dallas, I look at these at the playoffs a little bit like who's healthier going into this, right? It feels like Dallas is healthier because Vegas's injuries are so widely reported because of reported cap circumvention.
Is Petro going to play game 1?
I don't know. I don't even know if we know that yet.
Like, there's your answer right there as to, like, who's going to win. You know what I mean? Like, listen, Vegas is unreal. And if they win, no one will be shocked. But Dallas has been the most disrespected, underrated team in the NHL all season. Who's talked about them? What was the last conversation you had with someone about the Dallas Stars?
Well, I just think there wasn't a story because unless it was like a little bit of the goaltending issues they had mid-season, it was most of it was like, well, they're about on track with where we thought they'd be, which is pretty good.
The only time I really was focused on the Stars was when Logan Stankoven was up. I picked him up fantasy for that hot week that he had and everything, and that was like a buzzy moment for the Stars. But outside of that, no, they just kind of went about their business, which was great for a hockey team.
Well, and he's actually such an absurd ad for that team. They lead. I don't know if it's the entire NHL. It's got to be, though. They have 9 players with 50 points or more.
That's
9.
great.
That's a lot.
That's
great.
absolutely unbelievable. And then you add Logan Stankoven, who I'm pretty sure scored at least a 50-point pace since he was recalled from the AHL. So you can rely on, like, half of your lineup is as dangerous as the other. Jason Robertson led it. He's the closest thing they have to, like, high end. He didn't even lead them in goals, though. That was Wyatt Johnston. They have a big, mean defense. If anyone can, like, put up a physical fight against the Vegas Golden Knights, it's Dallas.
Yes.
The Stars are not afraid of this series.
I can't imagine they are. The one thing I would be worried about, and I think it's worth bringing up, is the fact that, and we mentioned this, Dallas's goaltending was a little shaky at times this year.
Sure.
Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill, the save percentages for Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill in this order are 908 and 909. Dallas. Ottinger got it up to a 905, and he's been better lately.
Sure. And
Scott Wedgwood is in an 899. So if Ottinger, I feel like Dallas is far more able to absorb an issue with their starter Dallas is far less able to absorb an issue with their starter than the Golden Knights are.
I mean, if the Golden Knights wanted to alternate, they could.
Yes.
And they're they're basically the only team in the NHL that I can think of, maybe outside of the Washington Capitals, that could just screw a team up by going, hey, we're going to put a right-catching goalie in net tonight. So the Capitals, the difference is Charlie Lindgren is their starter.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
Like, there's not a ton left, and there's not a ton of good ones left. And Logan Thompson, I mean, think about that. Is he a top 5 goalie in the world? No. Is he a top 5 right-catching goalie in the world? Well, I think he's definitely part of that.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah.
That conversation.
Logan Thompson, who has 0 career playoff games.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. And he was supposed to be the starter last year. And Vegas doesn't even have a starter. How are they going to do anything? And they win with Aiden friggin' Hill.
Yeah.
Jesse, what do you think about this series?
It's so tough to call. I think if Petro can't go in the series, I feel like I should get the freedom to change my pick to Dallas. Like, I feel like I'm siding with the Golden Knights right now. I look at what they did last season, and I don't see a fall off from there where they were in the playoffs and how hot they started the beginning of the season this year, and then they kind of had a mid-season in between. But like, I don't think I'm too worried about them being able to flip the switch come game 1. But if Petro's out, I feel like that's such an X factor.
Oh, it's huge.
They're the hardest.
Huge.
hardest team to quantify. Like, you got to go with how teams play down the stretch, except every year the Vegas Golden Knights are not optimized down the stretch because they have so many guys on LTIR. Noah Hannafin just got there. Thomas Hertl literally just got there. He played 3 games?
Yep.
Before how do you
And those
how do
are,
you evaluate the series other than just going, oh yeah, both of them are extremely good?
those are 2 X Factor guys I wanted to bring up because I'm
Hertl
looking at let's look at Noah Hannafin specifically. Now, his plus minus in the last Calgary Flames run where they lost to Edmonton, not great, but because Edmonton just lit them up, right?
It's also plus minus.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like a negative 11 and 12. So that's not
Doesn't
great.
matter. It's plus minus.
But he's a minute eater. He was playing 23 minutes a night with the Calgary Flames. That one's an interesting one because I want to know how he fits into the lineup, and is he Petro protection? If Petro's not there, can they manage, even if, let's say Petro's playing the first game, what if he doesn't play game 3 or game 4? Is Noah Hannafin a guy that's gonna bring some of that up? Are you gonna get some of that old man Alec Martinez crazy? He's got tons of playoff experience. And then I want to add this: the San Jose Sharks have not been to the playoffs since 18-19, which is 5 years ago. The last time they were, though, Thomas Hertl had 15 points in 19 games. 10 of those were goals.
He was really good in that run.
And I bet he's chomping at the bit to do this again. I look at him as like a huge X factor.
My favorite thing about their 2 additions, Hertl and Hannafin, the 2 biggest additions, they're a pair of 6'3" men. This is the team that is the biggest team in the National Hockey League. And what did they do? They went out and got 2 guys to make their average height even bigger. Like, they have the biggest D-core, and that's why I'm not going to pick against them in the first round, because I think the size that they bring to the table and the physicality and the fact that nobody can push them around in any type of hockey game, I think is a huge X factor come the playoffs.
Speaking of X factors come the playoffs, this guy's not necessarily known for being big. He's not even known for being the most high end. Since Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin's rookie year, Ovechkin, 3rd in playoff goals. Crosby, 2nd in playoff goals. First with 73, Joe friggin' Pavelski. He's
Wow.
so good at this, and he turns back the clock every bloody year. And he was going through it with the injuries last playoff run. He still found a way to contribute. I want to know how old man Joe Pavelski is going to compete with the biggest D-core in the league.
Best stat before we get to our picks. This is from Jesse Granger. The Golden Knights have participated in 6 postseasons in 7 years. All 6 have involved Pete DeBoer.
Oh,
What?
Wow.
Pete DeBoer was in San Jose their first 2 seasons when the Golden Knights faced the San Jose Sharks in 18 and 19.
Okay.
Pete DeBoer was the coach of Vegas in 2020 and 2021. Pete DeBoer is the coach in Dallas in 23 and 24.
That's so dumb.
Every time the Vegas Golden Knights have gone to the playoffs, it has involved Pete DeBoer.
What a life for him.
Isn't that funny?
That's hilarious.
That's cool.
That's hilarious. Well, and he's got a way bigger axe to grind being the guy they gassed this time around.
Yeah.
Wow. What a
boy.
stat. Shout out Jesse Granger.
Right?
Wow.
Okay.
An oddity.
Really good one.
So, picks?
The sexy pick is Vegas. They are the reigning defending Stanley Cup champions. But not every year is the same. They friggin' missed the playoffs and then won the Stanley Cup. It could easily have gone this way if they had like a cold week at the end. I'm going to say Dallas in 7 in what might be the series of the playoffs.
Jesse.
I, unlike Steve, like sexy. So I'm going to pick the Vegas Golden Knights.
Wow, did Jesse just bring sexy back? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jesse, how many games?
I'll do 7.
7.
Yeah. Vegas and 7.
I can't remember what I said in other videos. I don't know what I said in the podcast.
You said Leafs in 4.
I'm telling you what I feel right at this moment because I'm pretty delirious. I'm
You're
not
going
gonna
to
lie.
be right and wrong on every series.
So this is how I'm undefeated.
Yeah.
This is-
People
this
can just splice together you being right or wrong about everything.
I am God. It's funny. The more you talk about it, though, you research this shit on your own, and you're like, okay, that's how I feel. And then I hear you guys bring up stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's a really good point. So here's what I'm
I feel
Thank
like
you.
Yeah.
here's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, because I can't remember what I said 20 minutes ago when we finished the podcast.
Dope, my name's Adam.
Yeah, that's what goes on internally. I'm looking at this and I'm going, again, who's healthier? What kind of Mark Stone are we getting coming off a lacerated spleen? What are we getting off of Thomas Hertl coming off his injury? Is Pietrangelo going to play? Like, so much of that is left to chance. I did say 7 games. Ooh.
There are 2 teams in the series.
Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars.
That is my favorite way of annoying my wife, by the way.
What?
Because she always goes, oh, what was I going to say? And I go, oh, my name's Sarah Louise.
All right.
She hates it.
There's your picks. We'll see if we're right or wrong. Probably wrong.